welcome to the show. It's me, JP. It's time for JP's product pick of the week, and here we are. Thank you so much for stopping by. We have people over in our chats. We've got the YouTube chat up and running. And hello to Dave Odessa, Jeff Hunt, Tackle the World, David Hayworth, WA90NY. Hello, everyone. Thanks for popping in over there. And then if you're looking for the chat because you're somewhere else with no chat, well, might I recommend our Discord server and head over to the live broadcast chat channel inside of our Discord server. You can get there by going to adafruit.it/Discord. You'll jump right in. Hello to Thin Man, C. Grover, Jim Hendrickson, Liz, Paul, some nice. Hello. Thank you for popping in. And let's get to this because we got a super deal on a super product today. So as I like to do, I like to let you know where you can go to pick it up. So that is the URL. That's the QR code. If you head over there right now, you will get this product pick. You'll get this product pick for 50% off. We had, I think, 24 live before the show, 100 in stock. Bring them together. We've got 124 of them to sell. Let's see if we can sell through those. They're fantastic. What are they? Well, I'll let Lady Ada tell you all about it. Take it away, Lady Ada.
The Metro RP2350, which is in stock. We didn't notify people yet because we wanted people watching the show to get a chance to pick one up.
Yay!
Yay! It's got the 80-pin QFN RP2350, which I had to redesign a couple times, but now has lots of GPIO. So like the HSTX is shared with the normal header pins. We've got full SDIO pin out available on the micro SD card. And we have a version with PSRAM. This version just has 16 megs of flash, debug port, 5-volt buck converter, USB-C, STEMMA QT, SPI. It's got everything. Like I really jammed as much stuff as possible. So we've got a little HSTX to DVI adapter. So if you want this to have DVI output, there's a little adapter board and a cable that you can use. But I think we might use that port for other stuff. So I didn't use it. It's also like just generic GPIO. So I thought it would be good to not have it have a DVI port necessarily, but let it be available for as like if you want more GPIO or if like you want NeoPixels controlled from it. I think that's another option you could do.
That's cool.
So yeah, it's kind of like everything. Got buttons, NeoPixel built in, RxTX switch. It's like kind of a beefy, ultra fast dual core M33. I mean, like it's. I don't want to say it's like a teensy 4, but it's definitely well faster than like a teensy 3.
I'll say this: if you wanted a teensy 4 and an Arduino form factor,
yeah,
this is kind of it.
We're getting close. I mean, like it's not a Cortex, M7, but it's quite powerful. I only mention that because it's like people are always asking me like, oh, I want something faster than the 2350 from the 2040. And the ESP32 has like quirks to it. What I like is that this is like your plain ARM M33, but it has like analog inputs and the PIOs that you know and love. So yeah, it's finally in stock. Thanks everybody for being so patient as I redesigned it like 4 times, but I think I got it right this time.
You got it?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it right there. This is the product pick of the week this week. It is the Metro RP2350. So we have a couple of versions of this, but the one that we have in stock right now today that you can get at a big discount is the no PSRAM version. Although, hint, you can add PSRAM later, so it's probably fine to get this one even if you think you might want some PSRAM. Don't worry about that. But this one right here, it is a Cortex M33 RP2350 built on board. Let me bring up some images, in fact, of it right there and read off some facts. So this is the Arduino form factor, Arduino Uno form factor board, so you can use all your shields and add-ons that you're used to. Has all those pins socketed right there for experimentation, which is great. It is, like I said, a dual Cortex M33. It has 528K of RAM. It's got 16 megs of flash. There's space to add PSRAM. You can get a little PSRAM chip and solder it on there. You can see the little spot right there where that's unsoldered. It has 37 GPIO pins available. Now, 23 of those are socketed sort of in the usual way in those DuPont connectors. But then there are 12 of them on the HSTX port, not there, HSTX port right there, which you can use a little flex cable and connect that up to other peripherals. We've got, and I'll show you in a demo here, a nice little DVI HDMI video connector that you can use for that. But these are GPIO pins that can be used for other uses, 12 of them on there. And then we also have a couple of pins for USB host built onto the board that you can solder on. You can see the little 4 pins there. I'll show the pin out later, and that'll be a little more clear. This has 6 analog in. It has a micro SD card reader built on. There's a STEMMA QT port on there. Like I said, the HSTX port. There is Pico Probe available. It is a USB-C connector for power and data. Also, like all of the Uno form factor boards, you've got a DC barrel connector on there that you can use anywhere from 6 to 17 volts DC, and then that'll get converted into the voltage that's needed on the board. There is a little on-off switch on there that you can use when you're using that DC jack, and that's actually a really nice one for getting an external battery pack for things like AA batteries. If you want to make a little portable project, you can flip the power on and off right here on the board. We have the RxTX swap button there, so you can swap pins 0 and 1 to be RxTX or TXRX, depending on your needs. And there's, like I said, a set of 4 pins on there for the USB host that you can use with PIO. It's very easy to set up USB host on here. I'll show you a keyboard host example in a moment. And let's take a look at the main page. So if we jump over to the site right there, let me refresh this. These are probably going to go quick. You may just want to throw them in your cart and get 1 or 2 and some other stuff, because that's half price. Normally $24.95. Right now, $12.48. We don't do rain checks or anything like that, so get it during the show. The price goes back up after the show. And if you take a little scroll down, you will see here some of these facts and figures about the board, and then we have a link to some guides. So here's the primary guide and a few of the different Learn guides. You could also click on See All Guides to see all of the Learn guides that are there. And if we take a look at that main guide right there, you see a pinouts page. If you jump here, you'll get a nice pinout diagram that shows you, for example, let me zoom in on this, go to the original view there. Those are the pins that are available over HSTX. If you're using a little flex connector and then some kind of a breakout on the other end, you can access those pins by name. And on, a million features on there, a million different, not a million, but loads of different GPIO pins you can access and peripherals you can access. And this will take you on a little tour through them if you just scroll through this. You can also take a look at setup for using this with Arduino IDE and with CircuitPython. If you take a little dive into CircuitPython here, you'll see we have let's see, I don't know if I already set that on a tab, so I'll just open it here. In the CircuitPython Essentials, there's this HSTX display example, and that shows you a couple of different lengths of flex connector that we have there, and plug that into the little DVI HDMI video breakout that we have, and there's some nice example code. So you can grab this little bundle here and there's a BMP file here, put that on the board, run that code, and you can see HDMI video coming out. So I'm going to do just that, in fact. So right now, let's take a look at the down shooter. Here I've got my Metro RP 2350, and I have that on a little swirly grid board. I have the flex connector going to the HSTX connector and then to the little breakout for HDMI-shaped DVI video. And you can see I've also got a USB keyboard plugged into USB host there on the board. So all those things are happening inside of CircuitPython. If we take a look at, let's do main view and the little downshooter view there. This is a HDMI, essentially HDMI monitor, multi-format monitor, and it is displaying 640 by 480 video which is really the 320/240 video being doubled coming off of the board. And if I go to my, pull this view over here, if I go to my code view and grab, where's that main example? Pico DVI. This is the example code that was in that Learn Guide page, and I'll resave that. You'll see we get the BMP video up here, which is a ruler. I think Scott put this graphic together to just help with figuring out dimensions of displays, all kinds of different displays, as well as colors, you know, if the colors are working. And I've done a few of these similar recently. I did a monoscope and a grid test like you saw at the beginning. I'll show you one of those right now. So this is DVI video coming out and using display I/O shapes to create a little monoscope. The couple of really cool interactive examples I want to show. One is, here is a video game by Foamy Guy of Snake. And if we take a look at, I'll do a full view and a down shooter there. So you can see I've got a keyboard here, and that's not plugged into my computer. That's actually plugged in over USB to the Metro RP2350. And it says right now on the screen, press a button to play, and then WASD to move and T to pause. So I'll hit the space bar on here. Can you see? Let me adjust my camera a little bit so you can see the exciting gameplay in the background. And oh geez, this is going to be hard to play backwards. No, it's not too bad actually. The mirrored display is perfect. Okay, so I can play, depending on lag, I don't know what my reaction times will be like. It's slow at first, it gets faster. So exciting game of Snake with Blinka colors. I'm going to miss that one, I can barely see it. There we go, all right. So this, if I press T, for example, that paused the game. I can let it unpause. I can let it crash into the wall. You'll see the update on the screen there. So that's one example. Let me show you one other one that I was just working on, a terminal style example to just play around with typing on screen and adjusting fonts and colors. So I'm going to paste this in here, and I'll show you a little bit of the code in a second. But what you'll see now is on screen it says, "Welcome to Metro RP2350. And then if I type on the screen, I'm just going to show words up here. So I'll retype that. Welcome to the RP, oh, not RP, Metro RP2350. So that is all a custom program using a bitmap font. And we can adjust colors just by hitting the tab key. I can, oh, did I break it? Did I break tab key functionality? Oh, no. Oh, I'm not hitting the tab key. There we go. So you can see I'm just adjusting the colors of the background and the text. I'm also adjusting the color of the NeoPixel that's built on board there. So you can see that little NeoPixel I'm pointing at, changing colors. It's a little bright, so it's hard to see the colors changing, but that adjusts along with the background. And we can go and delete that or reset that with the reset button on the Metro, just so you can see that working. It's even firing up the light show on this keyboard here. There we go. Woo! Hey, now it's a disco. So all that's happening right in CircuitPython. Oh my gosh, let me see if I can calm down the maddening keyboard there. And let's take a look at this code just a little bit. So here, that full screen, can you see that? Yeah. So here's the setup, and in fact you'll see this in all of the code. I'll go to the Pico DVI example that's in the Learn Guide because it's the simplest. What are we doing? We are importing board for some pin definitions, and that includes all of those HSTX pins that are on the flex cable connector. And then I'm importing Pico DVI, which is how we're writing out DVI video to HDMI over that port. Using frame buffer and display I/O, we release the display, and then we set up a frame buffer as Pico DVI frame buffer. We give it a dimension, horizontal 320, vertical 240, And then these are all the pins, a bunch of differential pairs for red, green, and blue, a couple of clocks, and then we're also setting the color depth here to 16. The display is enumerated here as frame buffer I/O, and then in this example that I was showing before with the bitmap image, we're setting up a display I/O on disk bitmap, which is just that one ruler BMP, and then we're displaying that and passing during the main loop. Question I got in the chat, what editor I'm using on my computer here. The editor I'm using is Z, which is a spiritual successor to Atom, if you're familiar with Atom, but it's quite nice. And then the sort of editing that I'm doing on the Metro is just some code that me and my friend Claude, the large language model, and I wrote, mostly Claude. I can grab that. That's this terminal code right here. So that's what's running on the system right now. And so this is, as you can see, a similar setup, Pico DVI, frame buffer I/O, on disk bitmaps, and then, or rather, bitmap font for the type. This is a terminal font at the top there, but the rest of this is Arial 24. And then same sort of setup. The rest of this is just a whole bunch of display I/O code to do typing and bring in the USB input. So you can do a mouse, like in the Snake example, we can bring in a USB mouse. And in this case, I'm bringing in USB keyboard to be able to type. So I'll be doing more with this, and we'll be putting up more Learn guides as we go, both with this and the Fruit Jam, since they have very similar capabilities. On the Fruit Jam, a lot of these things are going to be built onto the board, so you won't have as many extra doodads coming off. But you can do it all right now with the Metro RP2350, and so much more. So those are the examples. David asks, where's the code posted for today's show? A lot of that is in the Learn guide for the different games. Let me bring up my Adafruit site here. So if you go to the Learn guides, you'll see here's Snake game on Metro RP2350 by Tim C. Here is the Breakout game from Ann Barella, and that one uses keyboard as well to move the paddle around. Here is a Flappy Wings, Flappy Nyan Cat game, like Flappy Bird. And then I forget which other ones are out, but if you go to the Learn and do Metro RP2350, you'll see a few examples. There's a raining matrix code thing that Ann did, and I think those are it. But also any of the Pico DVI examples will be relevant, so you can go and check those out. Let's see. Any other questions? I think that's it. David also asked, sorry, I missed this one. Can the power be applied to USB and barrel connector at the same time? I believe that is safe. I don't have a good power supply to plug in and test the theory with, unless this battery pack is, nope, it's a dead AA battery pack. Let's see if we can find an answer to that in the main guide. Metro RP2350 pinouts. We usually address this in power. Doesn't say here, but yeah, you know what? I would say very, very high confidence that you can safely plug in your DC power and USB-C, and that's designed to not conflict. So this is helpful if you have like a higher current thing happening on some pins or number of pins, and you don't want to draw that over USB-C, but you're still coding it. Then you can be plugged in over the barrel connector there. Let's see. Yeah, so there's a 5-volt output pin, which is coming over the 5-volt regulator when the DC jack is used. Otherwise, it's straight USB. So you can read the power here. let's see, V in, that'll be the higher of the DC jack or the USB voltage. So with the DC jack, that'll be 9 volts. With if the DC jack is 9 volts, you get a 9 volt VIN. If it's just the USB, you'll get a 5 volt. Let's see, any other info on that? I don't think so. But I will double check and we'll put a note on there just to reassure you that that's a safe thing to do before you go and do that. All right, good question. Any others? Can you play audio from the SD card natively? Yeah, I think any of the MP3 streaming and wave streaming examples that we've put out there off a SD card for RP2040 should just work on RP2350. But that's a good question. Again, if anyone knows the concrete answer to that or has tried it, let me know. Otherwise, I'm just going to guess yes on that one. Okay, let's see. Did we miss anything? There it is. There's the URL if you want to go grab one, or up to 10. I'll make sure we're still in stock with those before I go promising things. Sure, yes, it looks like it's still in stock at that good price. So go right over there and pick yourself up an RP2350 Metro. So for Adafruit Industries, I'm John Park. This has been JP's Product Pick of the Week. My pick this week is the Metro RP2350 No PSRAM edition. Thanks, everyone. For Adafruit Industries, I'm John Park. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.